Yeah, Isaiah chapter 11 mentions where the Israelites were scattered. All of them in Africa, in North Africa, in Asia, all of this. It did not mention Europe. Now, according to
No.
history, we don't read it in the Bible, but according to history, about 1,000 years ago, the Khazars converted to Judaism. These are white European people, and after a while, they became several millions after many years. And so much of Jews today, from Poland, from Ukraine, from Russia, very possibly has a very thin Israelite bloodline, not as much
Yes.
as those compared to the Iraqis and the Iranian Jews, and
Yes.
even Muslims who are actually in reality descendants of Israel.
More likely, more thick-blooded connection. That is
Yeah,
that is what the Bible teaches. If you
you
look at
see
the
that?
map in Isaiah 11 and Acts chapter 2, it's just a fact. The areas where they are the diaspora, the areas where the Jews were spread and mixed genetically and loss of land, they are mixed with the areas which is Islam dominated today.
Yes.
Sure, there's exceptions like Christianity, like any other religion, and so on. But unfortunately, whether we like it or not, the diaspora has mixed Israel, Old Testament Israel, with Muslim areas today, Muslim dominated areas today. So
Yeah.
the expectation is if you want to pray for Israel, get this. If you want to pray for Israel, you are more likely praying for the Islamic people. You are more likely praying for the Palestinians, much more so than the European Jews, you see. And concerning the Khazars that you mentioned, they came through proselytization, which is a conversion into Judaism. Okay, uh, again in the Mosaic law, the convert, the proselytes, was demanded by God to be accepted just as any native born. However, at the crucifixion of our Lord Jesus Christ, what happened in the temple and the Passover? The temple curtain was rent from top to bottom. God did it. That means no more proselytes, no more conversions into Judaism is allowed. The way to be a child of God, a believer, is to be proselytized into the cross, which means being a Christian. So the Khazars, okay, the proselytes after the cross could very most likely be the synagogue of Satan, who say they are Jews but are not Jews at all. They are not allowed to be considered as native borns after the temple curtain was rent from top to bottom. Before, yes,
Yes. Okay.
not after. Yes.
Yeah, because the ones who persecuted the Christians severely, putting to death so many of God's people, so many followers of Jesus in the first century and afterwards, they were Jews. They were religious Jews. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, very possibly it's mentioned in the book of Revelation, the synagogue of Satan. They claim to be Jews, but they're actually empowered and dominated by Satan. So today,
Yes.
let's bring our discussion to a wrap up, brother. I love
Mm-hmm.
your emphasis that there is a big difference before the cross and after the cross. That is so
Yes.
amazing. That is so true. I love hearing that again and again. There's a big difference before the cross and now after the cross. The way to our relationship with God. I love the word you said, proselytize. It is through the cross. It is being drawn to the cross, being convinced of the cross, that there is no other way, that we are cleansed, forgiven, reconciled, and become new creations. It is through the cross. What our Lord did at the cross, the shedding of his blood. Wow. And for Christians to have double standards, they say, okay, you're a Christian, Gentiles, you're reconciled to God because of the cross, but these Israelis, these citizens of modern Israel, these are holy people on the basis that they are Israel. It is so wrong. Terribly
Very wrong.
very misguided, very misguided. And they quote Bible, they quote scriptures. And they think when Paul mentions Israel in Romans 9 and 10 and 11, immediately they have in mind these white European Jews who occupied the Holy Land. That's what they think immediately.
Wow.
How could people, we need to like dissociate from that. Dissociate.
Very
Brother,
sad. Yes.
yeah. Very sad, and we want to say it. It is wrong. When we think of Israel, think of all the nations mentioned in Isaiah 11 and also in Acts chapter 2.